Dear Ukrainians, this morning I visited the site where a Russian missile struck a residential building in Kyiv. It was just an ordinary apartment building. The missile went through all the floors down to the basement. 23 people were killed by this single Russian strike alone. My condolences to the families and loved ones. The rescue operation lasted almost 40 hours. Until the very end, they tried to pull people out alive from under the rubble. In total, with that massive strike on Ukraine, the Russians killed 30 people. 172 people were injured. There was no military purpose to this strike at all. It gave Russia absolutely nothing in military terms. This is deliberate terror. It's the same thing the Russian army under Putin has done everywhere, from Chechnya to Syria. This is the only thing that Putin and his Russia truly know how to do well: kill and destroy. And this is exactly the area that unites Russia with regimes like those currently in Iran or North Korea. Right now, Russia is trying to save Iran's nuclear program. There's no other way to interpret their public signals and behind-the-scenes activity. When one of their allies loses the ability to export war, Russia suffers and tries to intervene. It's so cynical. And once again, this proves that aggressive regimes must not be allowed to unite and become partners. When Iranian Shahids, now much more advanced, and ballistic missiles from North Korea, also upgraded, are killing our people in Ukraine, it's a clear sign that global solidarity and global pressure are not enough. Sanctions need to be significantly strengthened. And we need to significantly strengthen our cooperation, especially technological cooperation, among all those in the world who defend life. This is exactly what we agreed on with our partners the other day in Canada at the G7 summit. And we will talk about this next week in other formats of our cooperation in Europe, including within the Coalition of the Willing. Today, I held a meeting on sanctions. A very important meeting. I instructed the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, the intelligence services, and our entire state team to propose new formats of sanctions work to our partners. And this will happen. I also instructed to step up everything necessary to synchronize sanctions, our partners' sanctions against Russia in our jurisdiction and Ukrainian sanctions in jurisdictions around the world. The task is clear: everything that reduces Russia's ability to finance the war at the same time increases the chance for real peace. Today, there were also meetings with our military and with the Minister of Defense of Ukraine. Syrsky, Natov, Alasat, Umarov, and separately with the team from the Security Service of Ukraine and General Horbeshiak regarding deep strikes. Russia must continue to feel entirely justified losses because of its aggression. I thank all our warriors. I thank every one of our units who made this possible. Today, I also signed a decree appointing Brigadier General Hennedy Shapovalov, who was carrying out assignments in Wiesbaden, Germany, as the commander of the ground forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. This involved coordination with our NATO partners. All the positive experience from this coordination, as well as all the real combat experience of our warriors, must now be implemented in the ground forces of Ukraine. Changes are needed, and that is essential. One more thing: the return of Ukrainians from Russian captivity. This is already the fifth exchange in just a few weeks. Guys from the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the National Guard, our border guard service. Many of them have been in captivity since 2022, including since the defense of Mariupol. We have to bring back, and we definitely will bring back all of our guys. We are working on every single name. We need an all-for-all exchange, so that every family can welcome their loved ones home, so that there are no ultimatums. We need a real ceasefire. We need a real end to the war. Ukraine is ready to meet at the highest level, and that level is exactly about making decisions. I am ready to meet in any format with those who make decisions and have the appropriate authority, including with Putin. Even though he has overstayed his time, his constitutional powers have lasted at least 3 terms, and it would be best to end the war during this term of President Trump. I am really counting on his help. I am really counting on the influence of the United States. That is what can help. Sanctions are needed. Diplomacy is needed. Security is needed. Glory to Ukraine.